everyone, it's Julia. I wanted to do some experimenting with this air drying clay. This is modeling clay. And I wanted to cover some buttons with it. And so I picked out some buttons that are about an inch or a little over an inch wide. And then I made these cuffs, and I really like putting a statement button on these cuffs. I'll link a video down below where I share how I make those. They're just from fabric, twisted fabric. And then I hauled out just a ton of my paper crafting supplies that I haven't used for so long. But I have a lot of like pigmented powders and perfect pearls. And these are metallic rub-on. There's just like a cream. I used to make a lot of cards and that type of thing, and I haven't done it for a while. And then I just shared with you too, I'm going to seal these with this polyacrylic. Now, I've never experimented with this before, and it's quite sticky. Now, I've did a previous video where I shared how I covered buttons with polymer clay, and polymer clay is really a lot different. In polymer clay, you really have to work it quite a bit before you can actually create with it. Where this is just like very soft right out of the package. And this comes in a couple different colors. I could have gotten it in a stone or gray color and also a white color, but I chose this terracotta color just because I thought I like that look, that color. And then I do a lot of coloring on them, so you'll see throughout this video. I experimented a lot with this, but sometimes I just, it's just kind of fun to do that and just to see what works and doesn't work. And I'm rolling this quite thin. I think it's probably about 1/8 of an inch or so. And then just completely covering these buttons. And throughout this, I do let these dry overnight, but I want to get like the holes all punched in, the buttons and any impressions made before I let them dry overnight. So some of the coloring I did after they were dried, and some I did while it was still soft. I'm just using a needle to punch these holes. And then I also have, just from other kits that I had, these little circular tubes that create little shapes. And I thought I would just add that to right on top of where the holes are going to be, and then poking the holes from the back. Just another little look just to give it some dimension. Yeah, those little cylinders are almost like a cookie cutter, and I do have some other shapes as well as the circles. I'm just taking my needle and I'm pressing little marks. Just thought that looked kind of cool. Now these perfect pearls, I'm just taking my finger, dipping it in, and just adding it to the button. Now my buttons are still, they're still soft at this point. And it's stuck quite well. Like I said, I did seal everything at the end after they were all dried. I did seal it with that poly acrylic. Now I'm just dug out some of my stamps, and I'm going to just do the impression, and I'm using an archival ink on some of these. One thing, if I would have gotten white clay, this would have shown up a lot better, but with the terracotta, it didn't. Some of the inks didn't show up as, real vibrant, which is fine. I do like the way they turned out. And later on, I did bring out my white gesso and just covered some of them with some of them. Then the inks really showed up. I really like this stamp that I just used. It's almost like a sunburst, and it looks really great on these buttons. You can really see the stamped images once you do the little powder. I'm going to link this clay down below in the description if you want an Amazon link. So if you want to take a look at it, and also some of these supplies that I'm using. And this one, I didn't use any ink at this time. I just wanted the impression of the leaf. And then I'm going to take these metallic rub-on creams and just, I dipped my finger in there and I'm just going to add that color with my finger. This button was a squarish button, which is a little unusual. And here's just a little overview. These have been dried. Once they were dried, they got a little bit lighter in color, and some of them cracked on the back side. And so I added more wet clay to that, and then just let it dry again overnight. Now I dug out my white gesso, which is half dried. I haven't used some of these supplies for so long. But I managed, and I just wanted to, like I added some white to it so that the color was a little bit more vibrant. And then you see those markers on the right side there. Those are my pit pens, which is an Indian ink. And I wanted to add, these are a permanent marker, really fun to work with. And again, markers that I bought when I was doing more mixed media work. And just wanted to dig them out and use them. And the color is much more vibrant over that white gesso. And the next thing I brought out were some of these stencils. Someone gifted these to me, and I love them because they're small. So this is a perfect kind of project for them. And they're also very bendable. And so I'm just using a makeup brush and some of my archival inks. These are permanent ink pads, which is, you know, nice for this type of a thing. And just rubbing through that stencil. I really like the result that I got with these. Just adds just a little bit of a detail. I do have another one I want to share. I have already covered with the white gesso. Just getting my holes a little bit better. But I'm going to be adding this peacock color through another stencil. Again, this is the archival ink. And I'm just using this really, like I said, a very, very tiny stencil. The hardest part is to get this to hold in one place and not to move while I'm doing this. And then I'm going to add some more of this ink around the edges. There really is a lot of different ways, a lot of different ways you can color these buttons. A gold edge would have been really cool on this one too, but I think I used, I'm going to go in with a perfect pearl in just this cream colored and just add some of that to the top. This is going to give it a sparkly look. And these will all seal in once I use the polymer acrylic on the top. Just testing to see if I like the look of it. And then on to one more button here. This one I just added a bunch of different colors and just adding some gold to the around the edge of it. And then just add a little bit of detail with a stamp here and there. Can't really see it very well, but it just adds another layer. Now for this polyacrylic, I just use a couple layers and I just let them dry or dry in between. I'm using an old brush. And this is a satin finish. It's going to give it a little bit of shine and just seals them off. I do have some pictures at the end. I really love how these turned out, and I hope you have a chance to give this kind of a project a try. It's totally different from a sewing project, but yet it's a sewing notion. Just really fun. And I do have some pictures of the cuffs here too, where you can see what they look like. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great week. Bye for now.